Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Metra Monthly Updates. This is the monthly update for September.
Yep.
And honestly, this is going to be an incredibly short one because we really didn't do anything.
Short and sweet, baby. That's the way I like it. So, as you guys know, I'm sure you guys know who we are. I'm the President and Secretary of Metro, Vladimir Sokolov, and this is.
I'm the CEO and Chairman, Derek Boyd.
So, what we're going to do, as again, this is short. We got two wrap up things to touch up on. So, the first one we're going to go on ahead and touch up on is by some miracle of God, the Indians in T-Mobile figured out all of Derek's issues and he got everything like he was supposed to with his brand new phone. Miracle. Did not actually have to call corporate this time. So, positive note on T-Mobile there, and I guess their internal investigations paid off. I don't know what they were investigating that was so dire, but they just had to be investigated.
That's correct.
So
either way, it worked out. So to remind you what I got the pen, the case. They fixed my bill because they charged me for both of those. And they didn't overcharge or do some crazy thing where they didn't give me credit for my original phone that I sent in. So everything was credited correctly, and I got all my refund prices. So now I bought the other pen from Samsung, so now I got everything I was supposed to be getting whenever I pre-ordered the phone. So it only took like 6 phone calls and some type of investigation of some kind, but it worked out.
Yep. So that's done. That's wrapped up. But here's what's not wrapped up. 108. So as you guys know, the last video, we were talking about that stupid appeal that we were having all these issues with, and that the last update we got for you guys is that it was supposed to be rescheduled for the end of September. Well, it wasn't. It instead got rescheduled to the end of October. Specifically, October 26th of 2022 is our next court date for an eviction that has already been finalized, that has already been done, that we already have brand new tenants in there, and we are still dealing with this appeal. Keep in mind, from the moment that we started doing construction to the moment we have new tenants in, to the moment that they've now made their second payment to us for the month, we are still dealing with an appeal for an eviction that doesn't matter and is completely irrelevant to anything. What annoys us about this is that this eviction appeal, if we didn't find out about the bond for stay, would have literally taken as long as a foreclosure on an owner finance house that's being done with like a mortgage, a note, or a land contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to remind you guys, we started in April. It's now going into the end of October, almost November. And then that's the worst part is that if this one gets rescheduled, it's guaranteed to get pushed over into probably next year. So
because they're not going to do a hearing towards the end of November, and then court basically ceases in December. They technically doesn't, but anybody who's been in court long enough knows that court ceases in December. Nothing gets done. Nobody does anything. So, it's useless unless it's like an emergency case.
So basically, Vlad and I have come to the agreement that our court system needs to be overhauled. It is a mess that this is even a possibility, because this guy could have got away with arguably 6 months to a year of free rent.
We're talking $6,000+ of free rent that would have just been gone and out the window. There's nothing we could do to recuperate it outside of filing for a judgment and then trusting the same court process that's failing us with this.
We have to go to court for a separate case to then get the money back. The judge wouldn't award it to us. The judge is only going to be ruling over the case of whether or not he should be getting evicted. So if we wanted our money, because it's going to be probably more than the $7,500 that we can sue for in small claims, we have to go to a whole new case in the same court system for the $7,500+ that we'd have to owe to him, which means it would also get held up for 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Same exact stuff.
Never put yourself in this position. Always do the bond for stay. Figure out the other alternatives that you could do, because if this actually held valid, dude, I would be going ballistic. It is unfair, unjust, and ridiculous. Something like this should have been handled in a month. The eviction got filed. The eviction got instated. The tenant still felt that they were right or they were wrong in some way, shape, or form during the court process. They filed the appeal. We get summoned for the appeal. We have the hearing within a month. Worst thing that possibly can happen to the landlord as damages is a 2-month time span. Best case scenario, the tenant bought themselves an additional month before they had to move out. At least that way it's fair. Right now, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. Luckily, we're not in that position, But we're apparently the first landlords in the Belton area that sat there and were asking for a bond for stay. So that tells me we aren't the only ones that have ever been in this position. And their solution was to just wait. And that's just disgusting to me.
Yep.
But I got nothing more on that. Do you have anything else?
No, that's pretty much all I have on that one.
130. Unfortunately, still not rented.
Yep.
We have every other property except the lot at 138 and 130 rented, but honestly, doesn't matter. This is one of those we're willing to ride out and wait till we find like a good quality person, because we just haven't found that. We've gotten a lot of lowball offers and like super dumb ones where it's like, hey, let me live here for free for 6 months and I'll fix it up. I'm like, haha, I've heard that before.
And we also
no.
get other terrible ones where it's like, well, how about you guys fix it up while I live in it, and then I'll pay you more for the house later? And we're like, no.
Or they'll sit there and they'll be like, okay, well, you guys are going to fix it up first and then I can finance it from you, right? And it's like, no, if we did that, we'd be renting it. We wouldn't be financing it.
So we've had some really bad offers, but either way, we're not exactly in a rush, because the main thing that we cared about was just making sure we were financially stable and we could recuperate our losses when we were doing the repairs for 108. We obviously did that. We didn't expect to get 122s, well, I wouldn't say sold, but just like being paid for. So because of that, it kind of offset the losses of 130 as it is. So like you said, we're willing to just sit on it, because we're not in a rush to put ourselves in a bind where if we kind of in a catch 22 here, right, where we have either we can sit on it and lose money monthly because of the holding cost, or we can reduce the amount and go ahead and get an even lower quality tenant in there who may cause future financial problems. So because we're not strained for cash, we're not really in a rush to just jump on the gun and just let somebody else in there for a cheaper amount. We're kind of willing to just wait a little longer. Plus, with the real estate market crashing and everything, we become more and more usable as people can't get loans.
Yep. And the other thing is too, to give you guys an idea, I'll be honest, September, great month for us. It's finally, Derek and I finally had some breathing room. Like that's honestly been the best part. I don't know how many of you guys out there like play games or whatnot. I've been able to spend a lot of time actually playing like World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Derek's been able to catch up on a lot of his like own personal repairs that he's been wanting to work on. And overall, it's just been a great month for us to sit back and relax. However, there were a lot of deals we were trying to negotiate. We were trying to kind of like test the waters. We were in the process of negotiating another deal. The reason we're not talking about those deals is because we didn't finalize them, so we don't feel like it's really a part of our company. We don't have any contracts on them and stuff like that. So we usually just ignore that kind of stuff and don't really talk about it unless it was like a big issue or blowout or is potentially costing us issues later on down the road. But yeah, like we have had little things that we've been working on here and there, but this is about exactly what we were explaining beforehand about with the recession coming up. Our objective, backroll money, spend money on our debts, not so much new acquisitions, and then keep backrolling our money for future investments, because cash becomes king during a recession and we can buy out a lot more and expand a lot faster in a recession with cash on hand. But I will say this, our budget looking hot.
Real quick though, we do have one last little wrap up thing for 130. We did try to get the electric turned on.
Oh yeah.
And they basically just said like no, because it's just barely outside of the realm of working with. Even though some of the other houses were about similar quality in terms of being bad but still passed. The main thing on this one was just that it was just a bit too much stuff. So they said that not only was it that some of the decks need to be replaced and or repaired to meet code, like for example, the entryways have to have a 3 foot by 4 foot platform to walk into them, and this one doesn't have that on either side, and it's elevated. So they were like, yeah, one of them is gonna have to have it, and then it doesn't have all the windows. Some of the windows have been busted and some fell through and stuff, so it needs some like plexiglass at minimum. And then the big thing was that the meter from the actual outside meter for the pole to the inside breaker, the line that runs into it isn't a hard pipe, it isn't PVC. It's just like this loose kind of like covered, almost like a really industrial version of electrical tape. So it's kind of
think
sketchy.
of like really thick rubber,
Yeah,
in a sense.
So it's kind of sketchy, and I kind of see the purpose. I mean, the point of what they're saying, because I don't know why it was done that way to begin with. So that's their main concern is that one. So they said, we fixed the majority of that. We can get back on. But as it sits right now, 130 did not pass, and we're debating whether or not we want to put money into fixing it or just keep doing what we're doing, which is paying debt.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, we'll get to the budget. Budget was really good because, like we said, we haven't really been strapped for cash. We've been doing pretty well. So for the most part, everybody's paid. In fact, there's not really anybody who isn't paid. We have some people who have been catching up on some previous payments, like we mentioned before. 136 was behind. They've been making a $200 payment a week to catch up, and they've been consistent with that. So in total, like I said, everybody is paid. We also are including in our budget this month the payments for 122 and 118 because they were part of this month. And so grand total that we got this month is $7,455 in gross income. Then for the debts, we have the $200 for the lot rent for 18 Eagles View, the regular 1953 mortgage that we have. We still had our final payment for the not repair costs, but just materials in general for 108. For one of them was $1,034.83, and the other one was $815.49. So now with those two paid off this month, we are 100% paid off on all the debts that we had racked up for the repairs. So we're done now. And then we have one last bill of $186.17, which was the regular divvy card that we pay, which is probably just like gas. So with that being said, and that also includes like the regular bills that we have, which is like the cell phone, the
company, the company
mail, and then the website and some other stuff.
Also, the company like landline and stuff like that, the 1-800 number, little things like that. That obviously is just basic every single month company expenses.
So with all the company expenses, everything put together, total debts was $4,189.49, meaning that we had a grand total net profit this month of $3,265.51. So really good month.
Yep.
Next month will be a little lower. Just gonna give you guys a heads up because we did have to pay 3 things that are kind of like they come up every so often. One is the water bill. The other one is the trash pickup for the mobile home park. And the third one is Vlad didn't pay the car insurance, so we were driving illegally for a month. So,
but the thing is, we drove so little. I didn't even know. Apparently, what happened with the car insurance is that it was set on auto pay for a card, one of our company cards that him and I have, and that card got expired. So they sent us out a new card. I never updated the new card. So apparently for the entire month of September, we've been driving around without insurance. I had no clue until literally this video. I actually made the payment right before this video, and we're still technically uninsured until tomorrow.
Yeah, because of the hurricane cover.
So we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, except he's got to go back home. So he doesn't pay anything. But anyway, so with that being said, yeah, like we were kind of pointing out, we really don't expect to be doing too much, possibly for the next couple of months. We're going to kind of ride in a similar style.
November, more than likely, things are going to get hectic again.
Yeah, true.
Because it always seems like November or end of October-ish, things start kind of hitting the fan. And then November, we're still trying to fix everything. And then December, again, it calms down. That's why we usually just do a year review in December.
Yep.
Because that's really that mass bulk of our content at that point.
Yeah, but with that being said, that's pretty much the entire video. Really, we didn't have much. And once again, it's good. It's good to have a break every once in a while, like he was pointing out. You can't always just go, nose to the grindstone and just keep having at it, because eventually you're going to kind of work yourself. You're overworking. You're going to kind of get to a point where even your work and quality and craftsmanship is all going to start diminishing, even though you're working more hours. So the main thing is, every so often, it is good to just kind of sit back and relax. Not to say you just completely cut yourself away from your job or your work. It's just that you're not actively pursuing new stuff. So we still maintained, we obviously still worked with our tenants when they were having to make payments and whatnot arrangements. We still obviously advertised properties, but we weren't going out of our way and making too many great deals. Like you said, we worked on a few, but we weren't like actively doing some like, cash for keys deals or doing some, driving for dollars. We weren't doing anything like that. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, do you have anything else you want to throw in here?
No, that's pretty much it. Main thing is that enjoy the break. When you're an entrepreneur, enjoy the breaks when you get them, because you have no clue when it's all going to start picking up, and the dust just doesn't settle once it does. It takes a while. So who knows? Him and I might do some other home projects or whatnot. But leading into the recession, there is a good chance. I mean, I hope it's not going to be this slow, but there is a good chance that even the next couple of videos, if things are going towards a recession point like we expect, The next two videos are also going to be very lackluster because it's just we paid down debts. This is what we brought in as profit. We're back rolling money, and that's kind of the reason we chose Hugh here from Breaking Bad, because this is kind of how we're feeling. We're literally just resting on our money,
Literally.
letting it collect, and then we're gonna go ballistic with it once we have a chance.
Pretty much. Well, with that being,
that's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with that being said, we'll see you guys in the next video. Appreciate it again. Thanks.
Peace.
Peace.